All right, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, strikes fear into the heart of pretty much every homeowner out there, the failing main sewer line. It's stressful, it's messy, and frankly, it is expensive. When that main line goes down, you are suddenly staring at a massive repair project and a stack of estimates that can look incredibly confusing. But don't sweat it, because today we're going to break down the exact costs and methods involved in sewer line replacement so you can navigate this absolute nightmare with total confidence.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to look at the sewer line nightmare itself, compare traditional and trenchless costs, figure out what actually drives that final price tag, see which method wins out, and finally give you the exact questions you need to be asking your contractor.
Okay, part 1. The sewer line nightmare and the causes of main line failure. Look, to really get the most out of this explainer, we just have to face facts. Sometimes replacing that main line is completely unavoidable. Whether it's crazy root intrusion, years of hidden corrosion, the ground settling, or just stubborn leaks that won't quit, that pipe eventually has to go. But here is the ultimate dilemma you're facing, right? Are you going to pay for the pipe, or are you going to pay for your yard? Because honestly, the actual plumbing materials, they're just one tiny piece of this giant puzzle.
So that brings us to the two main ways to tackle this. On one side, you've got the traditional method. This is the one where they bring in heavy machinery and literally excavate your yard to get to the old pipe. On the flip side, we've got the trenchless method. Think of this as a stealth operation. It's designed to get a new pipe underground with absolutely minimal digging. Two totally different approaches, which means you guessed it, two completely different cost structures.
Moving on to part 2, traditional replacement costs and their above-ground impact.
So traditional replacement is exactly what it sounds like. They dig a massive trench from a planned access point right down to the damaged section. But the cost of the actual pipe? That's barely the beginning. You're paying for huge equipment to do the excavation, and if that pipe is super deep or the soil is loose, they have to put in shoring just to keep the trench from caving in. Then you've got labor for yanking out the old pipe, the dump fees, the incredibly tedious work of perfectly lining up the new pipe, and finally shoving all that dirt back in and testing it to make sure the ground meets all the required specs.
But here's the real kicker, the restoration. This, right here, is the major swing factor. The actual pipes used in traditional jobs might be pretty cheap, but all that digging, it skyrockets your final bill fast. I mean, think about it. If your sewer line runs straight under your beautiful concrete driveway, a custom walkway, or some really expensive landscaping, you are paying to rip all of that up, and then you're paying again to put it all back together. It's usually this above-ground destruction that really drains your wallet.
All right, part 3, trenchless replacement costs and the below-ground engineering.
Now, the trenchless approach? The whole goal here is fixing the problem with absolute minimal excavation. And contractors usually do this in one of two ways. Let's bust some jargon real quick. First up is cured-in-place pipelining, or CIPP. Basically, they slide this flexible, resin-soaked liner right into your old busted pipe. Once it's in there, they cure it, which essentially builds a brand new, rock-solid interior wall right inside the old pipe. Boom! No massive trench required.
The second common trenchless method is pipe bursting, and this is actually pretty wild. Specialized machinery literally drags a bursting head through your old line. It just completely shatters the old damaged pipe underground, pushing all those fragments out into the surrounding soil, while at the exact same time pulling a brand new, full-size line right into its place.
Now, because trenchless is all about high-tech engineering instead of just brute force digging, the bill's going to look quite a bit different. You'll see charges for detailed camera inspections, mobilizing that specialized gear and crew, and of course the high-tech liners or bursting materials themselves. And a quick heads up, you do still need small access pits, so it's not like magically zero digging. But the absolute biggest financial win here? Limited surface restoration. Yeah, trenchless definitely carries a higher per-foot price for the actual installation, but since you aren't rebuilding your entire driveway, that dreaded surface restoration cost is vastly reduced.
Which brings us to part 4. What drives the final cost? The swing factors.
Okay, so no matter which method you're leaning toward, your specific project variables are what's going to dictate that final price tag. Let's walk through these swing factors. Obviously, a longer pipe or a wider pipe, that's going to cost more across the board. But think about access and obstacles. If your line weaves around utility cables or hides under a concrete slab, trenchless suddenly looks really, really appealing. On the other hand, if your soil is basically solid rock or the line is buried exceptionally deep, traditional digging becomes insanely expensive. But, and this is huge, you have to carefully evaluate the line condition itself. If your pipe has suffered a total collapse or a massive offset, a trenchless liner just can't navigate that. In those severe cases, you're pretty much forced into traditional replacement, no matter what. Oh, and never forget local rules. City permits and street restoration standards vary wildly by municipality, and that always impacts the bottom line.
So, part 5. Which method wins? Finding the break-even point.
How do you actually decide what offers the best value for your specific home? Well, Trenchless absolutely takes the crown when traditional excavation would just be devastatingly expensive or disruptive. If your line is under a custom patio, intricate landscaping, or if you just really don't want your house to be an active construction zone, Trenchless is your champion. It eliminates those heavy indirect costs. Traditional, on the flip side, wins, or honestly is mandated, when you've got a straightforward site with easy access, or more critically, when the old pipe has extensive structural failures or severe misalignments that simply cannot be lined or burst.
Finally, Part 6. Questions for your contractor so you can take control of the quote.
Listen, to protect your wallet here, you have to accurately compare proposals by asking your contractor the right questions. Follow these actionable steps so you aren't just comparing sticker prices, but actual, well-scoped project plans. Step 1. Simply ask them outright which method they recommend and exactly why. Step 2. Demand to see the camera footage. Don't just take their word for a total collapse. Step 3, and this is vital, clarify exactly what surface restoration is included in their quote, like who is paying to fix the driveway or lay new sod. Step 4, confirm that all local permits and a post-install video inspection are baked right into that price. And Step 5, ask them what their financial contingency is for unexpected underground obstacles. You do not want to get hit with surprise fees halfway through the dig.
I'm going to leave you with this golden rule, straight from our source material. Ultimately, the cheaper option is often the one that minimizes expensive restoration and disruption while still meeting the engineering requirements of the sewer line. As you navigate this stressful process, remember to look far beyond just the cost of the pipe itself. You have to calculate the true total cost to your entire property. Armed with this explainer, when that contractor finally hands you a quote, the real question is, which method will you be fiercely questioning them about to make absolutely sure you're getting the best possible value?